Now, the rest of the story. Bill was in trouble, and it was the biggest trouble of his life. He had been stopped for a simple traffic violation when police searched his car and discovered drugs. Marijuana, but that was a big deal back then. Bill was arrested, charged, tried, and sentenced 45 days in jail. If only Dad were there, he would know what to do. He always did. But the family was coming apart now, and Bill would have to face what lay ahead alone. It seemed that drugs had always been a part of Bill's life. Even as a boy, his main recreation was hanging out with friends and getting high. Then there was the Mexican dope deal, an ugly encounter, during which Bill was caught trying to smuggle a gun across the border. But this now was the worst yet. Bill was going to jail, and Dad was not there to stop it. Neither was Sister Laurie. If anything, Sister Laurie was in worse shape than Bill was, a victim of child abuse. Laurie had become a petty thief. Emotional problems would later cause her to run away from home and into the arms of her own drug problem, a major one, with heroin and a life of prostitution, and a jail term for forgery. And yet even now, before the worst of her problems had started, Laurie was in no condition to help anybody, not even herself. And what of Big Sister Ellie? Well, in rebellion, she had run away and got married, got pregnant. Now that marriage was disintegrating. And where was Dad with the advice and the assistance his children had a right to expect? Well, Dad had problems of his own, and it was not just the drinking, but a profound, inexplicable chronic depression that had seized him. And each attack was more severe than the last. It was a bottomless pit of paralyzing despair from which no one could rescue him. So here is Bill on his own, and on his way to jail. A lonesome figure. And all of this, I guess, is kind of a smudged portrait of an American family. A family in so many ways like the one next door, calling out, "Hey, how are you?" in the driveway, as though nothing were wrong. And lots of things were wrong. Behind drawn curtains, that family was hurting, failing. Child abuse and crime, drugs, divorce, prostitution, and desolation. The very worst of what we are, all in one representative household. And this is not a family strange to you. For Bill Gray was being arrested for possession, and Laurie Chapin was being sexually misused and stealing money, and Ellie Donahue's premature marriage was crumbling, and young Bob Young's brain was going to hell at a time when you knew them all very well, a time when these real people whose real lives you've just relived comprised a fictional family that America loved as the Andersons. We emulated them as the family next door, as the finest of what we were and hoped to be. And yet when the studio lights plunged the set into darkness each day, there returned the private nightmares of this ideal American family. For these were the members of the cast of Father Knows Best. And now you know the rest of the story.